Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin and XRP on Friday 2nd of August. Bitcoin moved lower yesterday. It's completed its yesterday's session for the 1st of August with a very bullish long lower wick. That completes a bullish hammer candlestick pattern, suggesting that the short-term pullback could be over. In order to have confidence in that though, I want to see follow through in the next session, the current session 2nd of August. I want to see a green candlestick with a higher high and a higher low, upward movement. Otherwise, this hammer candlestick pattern could be telling us we're just going to get some sideways movement before the pullback continues lower to 60,700. For the short term, it tells us to expect a trend change from short term down to either up or sideways, and we can't tell whether we're going to go sideways or up until we see how the next candlestick unfolds. So far it's an inside session that's got a red body, but we're only 10:40 a.m. New York time, so we're not even halfway through the period for this candlestick. What I can say is Bitcoin still remains within this rectangle, swinging from support to resistance and back again. Didn't quite reach resistance at the pink trend line, and it didn't get up to resistance 71,500 to 73,100, so I expect within this upward swing this is possibly a short-term pullback before we get up to resistance at 73,100. Volume bars for the 1st of August start here and end here. So within the 1st of August, this period of time, hourly volume bars are strongest on downward movement. So volume was pushing price lower in yesterday's session despite the bullish lower wick and despite the green body of the candlestick. So within yesterday's session, despite a green volume bar, volume was pushing price lower. Now the problem here is if this pullback is complete, I'd expect it to end on strong volume. So it's so far has stronger volume. This could be the end, but in the middle of it, it'll also have strong volume. It's impossible to tell which of those two scenarios is in play. I want to see a follow through from the bullish hammer candlestick pattern before I have confidence the pullback is over. We don't have that yet. ADX is declining, the DX lines are whipsawing, there's no clear trend at this time frame. Stochastics reached overbought price, just got a little bit short of resistance though. Stochastics is now continuing lower, so we may be seeing a downward swing to 60,700. Let's expect price may continue lower to support and stochastics may continue lower to reach oversold, and if they get there simultaneously, that may be where and when the pullback ends. The Elliott Wave count for XRP is playing out as expected, as for an expanded flat. A, B, C. B is a 121.6% length of A. Still within normal range and still indicating an expanded flat. What this doesn't look like is a running flat, and I would never anticipate a running flat. And this is within a first wave at minor degree if I've got that part of the wave count right. What I can say about this short-term structure is it's extremely likely for downward movement to move at or below 0.5404 so that C manages to reach at or below the end of A, avoiding a truncation. If C does not reach to A, and that's where the pullback ends, then we'd have a very, very, very rare running flat. Running flats are extremely rare, but expanded flats are actually fairly common. So that tells us it's very likely for C to move beyond the end of A, probably reasonably below the end of A, as is normal for a C wave of an expanded flat. So my target for support remains the same, 0.5252, and we may see that achieved with a sharp downward wick. Price may not close below here because there's strong support in the 55-54 cent area. It may not be able to close below that area. XRP moving lower, so far a lower lower, lower high. So far potentially breaking below support at 0.57. If it does close below that area, then support will become resistance, coming back down for another test of support in the 54-55 cent area, which should be fairly strong. Volume was pushing price lower at the start of this pullback. A little bit of weakness yesterday. Cannot draw a conclusion about the current volume bar because we're not even halfway through this period. But yesterday we can say volume was, or price was falling of its own weight. That's a shorthand way of saying price was falling due to a lack of activity from buyers, and it can do that just as easily as it can from increased activity from sellers. ADX is declining, there's no clear trend. ATR is declining as price moves a little bit lower. There's weakness in this downward movement, so it looks like a counter trend movement, not the start necessarily of a big downward movement. And here's the other thing that's really surprised me. If this is a small counter trend movement and people are shorting or trading this to the downside, that's extremely risky. The trend is your friend. Just stick with the trend. Counter trend movements generally speaking, are a good opportunity to join the trend when they're over. Stochastics reached overbought, price reached up to resistance. Stochastics is now moving lower, price is moving lower. Expect overall downward movement may continue. Stochastics may get to oversold and price may get to support. If they get there simultaneously, that may be where and when the pullback ends. That's it from me today with a quick update for you to end the week, and I hope you're all looking forward to a lovely weekend.